Hello, everyone, and thanks for coming back to Deb Chanel's 40s World, where we're going to be recapping and reviewing the Talk television show that aired on Tuesday, February 21st. Let's get right on into it. First, the topic they had was on animal cruelty. Guys, it was this Mexican guy rolling around in his neighborhood driving a motorized high chair, and he was dragging his dog along the grass, the sidewalk, everything. I was just too floored. Total picture of child cruelty because some of our individuals, people in society, treat their pets like their children. So it was this other Mexican lady that was asking him what was he doing dragging that dog down the street and on the grass and just, what are you doing? Then the 59-year-old, I think he said his name was Mario, was saying, mind her own business. She shouldn't be worried about what he doing to his dog and this, that, and the third. And that lady was like, oh, hell to the no, no. I'm going to report your ass, and that dog will not be yours if he's still living. So anyway, the video went viral that she had put on social media about, the guy was just driving around on the sidewalk with his dog and just pulling him along, dragging him because the dog was like, I don't feel like being bothered. I don't even want to be going nowhere. And when dogs get stubborn, they pretty much just, play like they halfway dead, just, fall out on wherever they at. And you start dragging them or pulling them. And that's basically what he was doing. So anyway, the authorities got involved. They gave him a fine and they took the dog away from him. So hopefully he'll face some jail time for it because he was just like not even caring about who saw him, what was going on. It was his dog. He felt he can do anything he wanted to do with him. He could probably put a pistol to his head and shoot him if he wanted to. But it was a good Samaritan citizen, reported him, got it all on tape. Wasn't no misunderstanding. They got it actually the footage of what he was actually doing and him in the act doing it. So that was very, very good. And Shara Underwood, she a comedian, honey. She talking about she was just went and slapped his fat ass off that motorized wheelchair and would have knocked him in the head with a rock. Everybody else was chiming in on, yeah, that was pretty bad. We could have did that. Yeah, we should have did that. Oh, that could have been a scenario. Then they had this legal correspondent that, talks on legal issues here and there. And she was talking about it was very much so cruelty. He should get some, jail time for that. But it is what it is. I think he got fined and the dog got taken away from him. So that was good. So that was one piece of the show today. Then they had section when they were talking about Lisa Marie Presley and her ex-husband, soon to be ex-husband, Michael Lockwood. Lisa had discovered that he had some inappropriate pictures of young children, dozen of them in his computer or on his computer. And he was just saying basically not that he didn't do it. He was just saying that she didn't want to pay the $40,000 a month in spousal support because they had been married for 10 years. And he felt that he needed to be kept in a lifestyle that he was accustomed to. And she needed to pay. And she was just using this as a cover story. I'm like, man, you sick as hell. If anybody claiming I did something that's a criminal, a felony act, I'm going to be talking about that act. Then get to once that has gotten resolved and it's in my favor that I had nothing to do with what she's saying, then we would have got back on the $40,000 spousal support. But put that before you having all these indecent exposures of young children on your laptop or your desktop or whatever computerized you had the information on, costs are involved now. Legal steps are going to be taken on you. I mean, what are you thinking, man? What are you thinking? But anyway, Sarah made a good point when she was trying to deduce the information to what was what. She said, why are the kids not with Lisa Marie? Since she's not with him, they are separated while they're going through all these issues. And, of course, in certain media articles, they had wrote that child custody had got involved. And right now they're in custody, state ward of the children. Well, state, wait a minute, they're a ward of the state. And they're in the system. So I don't know, maybe they were living with foster parents or whatnot. But it was just Priscilla Presley got on, and she pretty much had wrote her little article and gave an interview to a local journalist that worked for a paper. And she pretty much put a stop to the rumors that were going around that the kids were in state custody. They're in foster care, this, that, and that, till the issues get resolved between their mother and dad, or their mother. And she was like, she shut that shit down. The kids are with her, da 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 da. They never were in custody with the state. And I'm like, that's half a lie, because when somebody make an argument about child cruelty, the state is going to come in, confiscate those kids, and put them in some foster home until they can locate another sibling close to the children to see if they're eligible and able to take on the task of keeping these kids so they could figure everything out. So that was a lie. But anything surrounded around the Presley family is kind of suspect. So it is what it is. Then it got on Angela Jolie and the two strange interviews she did with two separate, um, I won't say bloggers, but interviewees for different companies or social media people. And they was asking her from the BBC reporter about the child custody battle between her and Brad Pitt. And she was just like, she was stoned, like she was high on something. Like she was scared to even answer that one question about what's going on. And Jolie just responded, it was a difficult time in their family. And she really didn't say nothing else. And then on the other interview that they did, well, I guess with the local correspondent in that state, she said the same thing. Like she was MK Ultra or something, or scripted to say just this one thing and that was it, and they should leave her alone. But it's like, we're family. It's a difficult time right now. That's it. I'm like, girl, you acted just like a robot, but you need to go get reprogrammed, because that wasn't a good look. It's like you were stoned or on some kind of illicit drug. Like you shouldn't have not been doing an interview, because it didn't look good on your part. I'm like, where's Brad? Are the kids safe? That's my opinion on it. Then Sarah expresses her opinion about that, and she says it's true. They will always be a family. They have to have peace for the children. And, now she gave a better response than what Angela Jolie said. I was like, okay, give me more. You have saying the sentence. It's not complete, what you're saying and how you're putting it. But anyway, it goes what it is. Then, what's her name? Julie expresses that she believes that the children are having a hard time coping with the separation between Brad and their mom. And I was like, still, she could have said a lot more than what she said. Complete her sentence, if anything. But no, it's something else going on with that stuff. But anyway, that's just my opinion. Commercial, we come back. They're talking about David Cassidy. You remember the guy from the Partridge Family, the lead singer. And they say he's come out and claimed that he has dementia. He's 66 years old. They show some clips of his past concert. They show him falling off the stage. And Julie tells of his past troubles with alcohol. And then a little mediator, legal lady, just says she's just telling the truth, of which what I saw from the footage. That man is drunk as hell. He's an alcoholic or some other type substance abuser. That is pretty much what it is. Because when you're having that kind of dementia or you claiming Alzheimer's, you can't really remember a lot of stuff that just happened. They good at remembering stuff that happened way, way, way in the past. But if you said 1, 2, 3 to them and told them to remember in about 10 minutes, and you go back and ask them after the 10 minutes have expired, what did you tell them to remember? They couldn't even tell you. You see what I'm saying? But this joker, and talking about, the parents are having slurred speech and this, that, and the third. I'm like, okay, yeah, well, yeah. That could happen, but you're going to need a lot more symptoms than just what you're showing us as far as clips. That man was, honey, no, that was just straight up drunkenness, over drunkenness. Oh, but anyway, Leisha tried to say something as well as Julie, trying to clear it all up, not having just that one perspective. And she said, well, he's just giving him the benefit of doubt that it could be possible. He might be suffering from one or two, and it might be slurring and falling. But I'm like, mm-hmm. And Sarah was chiming in, saying the same thing. But Julie does say in past interviews, he did say that he wasn't going to be performing anymore. And hopefully that is true so he can go work out his issues with whether it's alcohol abuse, substance abuse of some other kind, or whether he is truly suffering and he needs to just take a leave or really don't get into the entertainment business no more. You know what I'm saying? And just let it be and just go on and deal with whatever he's dealing with mentally, physically, and socially. Okay. Then they go to something about a flip or flop. Starr breaks their silence about their pending divorce or what they're going through. Tyreek and Cheryl Underwood is both voicing her opinion on it, saying it's bullshit. They're not telling us the real truth and this, that, and the other. And the other women chime in saying, she's okay with the situation because she's wanting to be free. But Tyreek is in the remission from having cancer. And then Cheryl Underwood would try to say, oh, I'm sorry for even talking about him so rudely. I like, no, Cheryl, you told the truth. He's just dealing with a lot of issues, and he's probably not wanting to not be married, but it just is what it is. It takes two to get married. It takes two to get the divorce, or one person wanting the divorce. But it's just hilarious how she was just feeling so sorry for what she had said without knowing the other half of the truth. But that tends to be a lot of people make speculations and give their own opinions before they know the whole picture of how a person or individual got to that certain point. We all are guilty of it. I myself, but if you only giving me a certain thing to deduce my opinion to, then that's what I'm gonna go on, and I'm not gonna have any regrets about it because if I didn't get um the whole story told to me, then I'm not giving you my complete synopsis of what I feel. I'm only giving you or I'm only evaluating what was given to me. So you can't hold me accountable for lack of information that I wasn't privy of, and I was only giving my opinion on what I did have to evaluate. So that's how I saw the situation. Then we move on to where we have this 34-year-old teacher who calls herself telling her band students, a chorus student, it was in the musical field, that she wanted to do a cartwheel. And she wanted to do the cartwheel that they wanted to see. And, probably like, yeah, we would like to see you do that. I wouldn't have come like, you supposed to be teaching us music, not acrobatics or gymnastic moves or this, that, and the third. Then the teacher goes on to say, but, I don't have on any panties. Now, see, for me, and I would have been thinking the same way too, that woman's disturbed. Because why would she tell us, first of all, she want to do a cartwheel? Where would a cartwheel come into this when we're not in gym class? We're not in no exercise program, and we're not gymnasts. Why would she feel she needs to do, exercise when we're supposed to be learning about instruments or songs or whatnot? So that would have been my take of this woman is crazy. She done lost her mind. But anyway, the teacher goes on, 34-year-old teacher does this cartwheel, does exposes herself that she's not wearing any panties or whatnot. And she gets fired and she gets charged with I don't know if that would be a misdemeanor crime of indecent exposure. Because, for one, is just not responsible for doing a cartwheel anyway, because you could have hurt yourself voluntarily, you know what I'm saying? And then to have on no panties, you're going to admit it to everybody prior to doing the act. That's just criminal. And because, that's just like me being fat and showing all my rolls. And that's just not a good look. You're scarring me. You're giving me a complex where I'm going to be fried in my brain because it's going to have me have a complex. But anyway, like I said, she was fired, and the parents had a lot of things to say with it, so they were pretty much asking the panel what they felt about it, as well as the audience. And Sarah tries to pleasantly defend the teacher, and the other ladies just go in on the substitute teacher. Cheryl Underwood makes a joke saying she was cool. She didn't have any drawers on. That's why she was so cool. I was like, oh my goodness. But it was a good chuckle. But I thought the lady, nobody really brought out, and I was surprised that Cunning Julie Chen didn't say it. Like, she's supposed to be so smart and intelligent and all this. She could have at least gave the idea that maybe the woman wasn't stable. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe she had some mental problems and she didn't take her medication that day. Because a lot of people do have issues. And we don't always look to see, well, is that person on medication or do they have any anxiety or any depression type things going on? Address it from a medical standpoint instead of thinking like she just wanted to do this for kicks and hee-hees and ha-has. But that was just my take on it. Then we move to where we have a correspondent by the name of Nichelle Turner joins the group. And I don't know really why she's there, but it is what it is. She goes on to give us information on, I think her name is pronounced Hoda. She's a correspondent on today's, um, I don't know, what is it called? It's a media, social media type of, it's kind of something like being on news and they give you the media, they give you the weather, they give you entertainment, they give you what's happening, the crimes and stuff like that. She's on that show, but it's called the Today Show. So she done call herself adopting a baby, y'all, a newborn at that. And she looks so pretty being a mother. But I always feel that, and maybe I'm just old school, the child needs a father. And I don't think Hoda is married. So I'm like, come on, y'all. Women can't do it all. I mean, we're the bread makers, we're the nurturers, we're the enforcers, we're the father. We just so everything. Like we're just gonna just break down just as a gender because we take on so much. But if she's always wanted a what do you call it, baby, and she never had one when she was married or whatnot, I can understand the longingness to wanting to have it. But like I said, she adopted a baby. Then Alicia had chimed in saying she has a friend who adopted a 13-year-old. Let's not forget about the older kids that are in the state systems because, that real parents weren't able to take care of them. We need to adopt some older kids as well as the young ones and this, that, and the third. So Sarah even chimed in and said that she's thinking about after she gotten her kids a little older, as they get a little older, she's thinking about maybe adopting somebody in the teenage years that's still in the foster care system. So I thought that was cute. Cute, cute, cute. Then they bring in, is it Malin Ackerman? She plays as Lara or somebody like that on the Billions sitcom show that they have out. She's so funny. And they played a little clip of her show called Billions, and I liked her go getter, killer type mentality that she's playing on the show. I'm not really fond of it, don't really know nothing about the show, but it seemed to be interesting. But she goes on to talk about her life and how she got into the business, and she was saying her and her friends, one of her girlfriends came with $20 each, meaning they had $40 total coming from Toronto to LA to find work as actresses and stuff. And she was just saying that she loves her family, she loves her friends, that she indoctrinate as family. She go hard for them and they go hard for her. So, that was the comparison she was making to the character that she plays on the show. So that was kind of cute. And then she goes about talking about her son, and they show a picture. He's so adorable with the little curly hair thing going on. And it was just a cute scene. And she goes to say how she's potty trained him and stuff. And he went on to tell her one day when she was telling him to shake his wee wee to shake off the extra, uh, I guess, dripping of his urine. But I'm like, why she just didn't like tell him to take a piece of paper towel and just make sure it's dry. wipe it or whatever. But she said she teaches him to shake it. And he told his mama that he only shakes his wing to make sure it's really dry on Wednesdays and Fridays. And they just had a big chuckle. And how she was telling that, I had to laugh too. I'm like, baby boy, that's not what we do. We have to wipe ourselves on every little time we urinate. You know what I'm saying? Our panties, our drawers will be wet. And we can't have that. Not when we first start potty training. And so, it was just real fun. And I thought, like I said, I thought it was cute. And then they asked her something about who or what actor does she fawn over or she just loves. And she said something about Bill Paxton. She just totally obsessed with him. Every time she sees him or hears about him, her whole body just gets wet, especially her palm or her hands. It just gets so sweaty and stuff. I was like, oh my goodness. I said, I think, that was a bit too much information, but I was okay with it because it was on TV and I was watching it and I was reviewing the show. So I kind of liked the show today. It was kind of comical. And, hopefully y'all will like my review of it and would love for me to review more by showing me how much you like it by definitely subscribing to my channel and definitely watching the video and clicking like and sharing it. So y'all take care. Hopefully I'll do another talk. Just depends on the ratings that I get. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.